All right, I'm fired up to be back. I know you guys are, and the rest of the team is. We're excited to have the opportunity to come up here to Lehigh. I'd like to thank the people at Lehigh and our staff for putting things together on a short schedule. We've been very organized to this point, and things are running smooth, and that's that's obviously a plus as we go forward here. So likewise, I know, and as well as you know, we're covering a lot of bases here with free agency, trades, contracts, all of those things. I don't want to divulge anything now as we're in the process of that. So a lot of the things that normally take place in the off season during those periods we're doing now. Derek's filled you in on the draft picks and where we stand with that. That's been moving very smooth. Howie Roseman and Joe Banner have done a phenomenal job there, along with the agents, of working through the new rules and regulations. Likewise, as coaches, we've worked through some new rules and regulations that have come to us as soon as just a few minutes ago on practice and the way things are expected to work there. So, but I told you this before we left, that we've got every scenario covered, and it's been a smooth transition. So the way I'm looking at the practices within the rules that we've been given, and with the off season the way it's gone, is I'm going to ramp up, use the first few days as ramp up days, just get the guys back into the flow, start in a walkthrough manner, and let the new coaches teach the things that they need to teach, and then the coaches have switched positions. In Juan's case, to introduce some of these things, we'll have a walkthrough tomorrow morning. Then we'll have a helmeted practice in the afternoon. It's a non-contact and no padded practice. The following day we'll do the same thing. We'll give them a little bit more time on the field in the morning, but it'll still be a walkthrough, get the guys back into the flow of things. And then in the afternoon, we'll pick up the pace a little bit. And again, these will be short, fast practices. And then the third day, we'll increase it even a little bit more. I'm going to still keep them out of the pads on that day, even though you'll read the rules and we'd be allowed to do that. Again, just making sure that with the off-season the way it's been, that I've got a good feel of the players, where they're at in condition-wise, and then the next day there, which would end up being the fourth day, then we'll put on the pads in the morning, and we'll have a walkthrough in the afternoon. We'll continue on with that schedule throughout the rest of camp at Lehigh here. So again, man, we're fired up. We are excited. It's great to have the NFL back flowing. I thought the players and the administrators within the league, headed up by the commissioner, I thought they did a great job of pulling this thing together and getting what's good for both sides. And I think the players, the ones that I talked to yesterday, were upbeat and positive. Man, they came in. We had a bunch of them come in and work out, and they're ready to go. So it's exciting times, and we've missed it the last 140 days, and none of us have had a whole lot to do. I think by this turnout here, it looks that way. So I'm glad you guys are excited. We are too. Time's yours.
Andy, where do things stand with Kevin Cobb? Do you still plan to trade him? And if so, and you can't get something done tomorrow, does he have to report tomorrow?
Yeah, this is I can't get into divulge all that. I'm not going into the and I'm glad you guys, that you're listening as well as you were before. That's a good thing. So free agency and trades and any contracting, I'm staying away from there right now. When you're normally in this thing with some form of a strategy to work through, I don't want to divulge anything. We're moving on, and the players, have this grace period here. The veteran players for teams that start on Wednesday, they've got a day grace period just by travel. So there might be some guys here that are conflicted by travel and so on that don't make it.
Will you give Kevin will Kevin still have to report even as trade talks be going on potentially, or would you expect him here?
Oh, we'll see. We'll just see how things go here.
Do you expect to see Deshaun Jackson?
Like I said, we'll see how things go.
Andy, there seemed to be this big expectation that as soon as Tuesday came around, there'd be big flood of player movement and all these transactions would be made, and yet teams seem to be off to a halting start, including.
Well, you know what? I think everybody's trying to make sure they have the rules and regulations down, and so you're trying to work within that. I noticed it even with the draft picks here. It's people are cautious and they're making sure that they've got everything down. I'm talking about management and agents. So you know, that's what it is. And you're working within a new cap. It's a new cap schedule, so you've got to kind of budget everything and make sure you got it right. This is the way it's going to be for the next few years here, and we're just introduced to it. So there are going to be some of those type of things that go on. That's okay. It'll all work out, and it'll be very smooth as it goes on.
And you and other members of the front press have made no secret that you were going to come out and be aggressive in free agency. Is that still the plan?
Well, we'll see how things go. We're sorting through all that. That's I can't sit here and divulge that. I mean, we're not there yet. You know, we'll find out here Friday and see how things work out. And we'll find out a few days after that too. So it's we're cramming a lot of things in a short period of time. I know you guys want to know it, and we're working through it. So you know, we'll find out when it happens. There are strategies involved in it that we've tried to put together. We've had a few days to think about it in the off season and put some plans together on how we're going to attack it according to the scenarios that were given by the league. And now we're in that process of doing what we're doing. And I mean, I can't say a whole lot about that.
Sandy, we're known for physically hard camps. The players have said in the past they think they benefit at the end of the year by having a hard camp. Is this going to be a hard camp, and how is this all going to fit in with what's been your philosophy?
Well, listen, the morning practices will be very similar to what we had once we get into day 3. The morning practices will be very similar to what we've had before. So as far as time goes and format, I told you on day 3 I was going to keep the pads off them in the morning, but that format will be the same format we use on day 4. It'll be the same format that we've used in the past, you know, it's so that part's going to be very physical. It's still going to be the same type of thing. This is a sport where you make contact. The afternoon practice, where we have the 10-10-10s and the special teams practice, you can't have those anymore. That's not how it works. That's a walkthrough period. I mean, you could do the walkthrough in the morning or the afternoon, but the next practice, out of pads, and you've got to go a walkthrough. That's just like we would do our 8-8 on Wednesdays and Thursdays during the season. Very similar to that. So there's no helmet, there's no pads. Players are fast when they're pre-snap, and then they cruise after that.
Andy, with all the time,
will special teams suffer as a result?
Well, listen, I'm making up for that in other areas with Bobby. So I've extended a couple of special teams periods a little bit longer than what I had before when we have the opportunity to go fast. And so we'll get Bobby caught up there. And I think when it's all worked out here, if you just calculated the minutes, it's going to be equal, and he'll have a good, you know,
Andy, with all the
amount of time.
I'm sorry, with all the time lost with the OTAs and mini camps, how much do you need a star receiver like Deshaun Jackson in camp, working with Michael Vick and the rest of the offense?
Well, listen, I'm not going to get into all that. I would just tell you that any player, and this is going to happen because we're starting now, and any free agent that you have or whatever takes place down the road here, they're going to have to catch up. So, but anytime you miss a practice, it doesn't matter if it's this year or, you know, next year, wherever, it doesn't matter, or years past, you miss a practice, that's one less day of getting better. And so, you know, the best we can, we're going to get everybody in here when we can get them in here and roll. We've got the majority of the team here, and that's the important thing. And like I said, Howie and Joe have done a phenomenal job with these draft picks, because that's been a slow process to this point, but they've really knocked out quite a few.
How tough is this going to be for the rookies? I mean, they probably most of them haven't even seen their playbook yet. No camps to get acclimated to your system. I mean, how tough is it going to be for them?
Yeah, it's going to be a catch-up game for them. That's where your OTAs come in handy in that case. But you know what it is? It's equal opportunity all the way throughout the league. So I'm not going to dwell on it. We've got a plan for that, and we're going to go for it. So and everybody else, I'm sure, has their plan. We've got our ideas, and I told you before, this is in that case, and with new players coming in from other teams, that's where you test your teaching ability. And so what we did as coaches, we made sure we went back and made sure that we detailed everything even another inch. And so when we get in there's not a lot of wasted words or time. We can get it to the players and make sure we give it to them. Take these complex concepts and simplify them the best we can so that these guys can execute them quickly from the time they break the huddle down.
Andy, what's your personal patience level with a player who doesn't want to be here and doesn't show up at the time that he is supposed to report tomorrow?
Well, listen, it's all part of the game. I understand that. Obviously, I want everybody here. I'm a coach, right? So I want everybody here. But I'm also versatile, so and resourceful. So whatever works, I'm ready to roll.
Andy,
We've got the guys that are here. We're coaching the heck out of them.
Andy, have you talked to Deshaun the last couple of days about this situation?
Well, I've talked to all the guys. Yeah, I've talked to everybody. So he would be one of them that I have talked to. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about all that, but I have talked.
Did he give you any indication, though, that
Well, I'm not going to talk about it. I just.
Andy, you've had a lot of turnover with your staff in the offseason, with new guys taking new assistant roles, new assistants coming in. Was missing the OTAs particularly hard for you because you have this new staff coming in that's going to be assuming new responsibilities?
Well, I think what you're going to see, there are a lot of similarities. Obviously, Juan has been around our defense. He's made some subtle changes, but they're not things that our players aren't familiar with, the veteran players. So I don't think it's going to be these huge changes that have taken place. Juan's been here through the duration of, from the start since I've been here. And so I think the players will be able to pick things up fine. I'm not worried about that. The new coaches, they've got to teach their concepts. These next couple of days are going to give them a lot of individual time to kind of teach. And even if it's just taking a step that they want, if it's Howard in the run game or Wash in a pass rush, just being able to talk and walk through those things, I think is a big thing right now. And getting the guys going in the right direction. We've got the athletes and so on, and we've got smart guys. They'll pick it up fast, and we want them to play fast on both sides of the ball, and it's our responsibility to make sure that happens through our teaching process.
How much tougher will it be for the rookie? I know you kind of said that a little bit earlier, but it's going to be tough enough for the veterans.
Yeah, well, no, listen, they're going to have to put on their thinking caps, and it's also the physical part of it. Like I said, I'm starting off slow, and I think one of the things that's important here is, and I keep saying this, but Howie and Joe and the agents, they've worked together. They've crammed a lot of wording and strategies in, and to get these guys here. So the majority of them, if they're not here now, they'll be here, either tonight or tomorrow, and it's going to be a limited amount of time missed, and so. That's a tribute to them, but listen, they're going to have to really focus in, and have to be a lot of concentration.
You know, a lot of guys coming off surgeries or big injuries, and obviously you weren't able to monitor them during the lockouts. Does that mean maybe you treat? I know everybody's different. You treat them a little bit with kid gloves coming out of the box here.
Yeah, like I said, tomorrow morning we're just going to walk through, and we've got about an hour, 20-minute practice, and it's a walkthrough. We're just going to walk until you're taking the chalkboard out of the room and you're putting it on the field. So it's a meeting on the field, and it's an opportunity for the coaches to have a lot of individual time and work through things with their guys. And then the afternoon we'll pick up the pace a little bit, and then we'll back off the next morning, and we'll just talk and walk and make sure that they understand, and then we'll pick it up a little bit in the afternoon. So I'm saying it's just a ramp-up period. Start them off slow. And listen, we've got time. We've got the guys here on Wednesday. Majority of the team's here. And we'll just take it day by day here and get them into shape. We understand that they missed the OTA. I understand all that. And so I'm not... I'm just going to take them nice and slow and get them back into the swing of things and make sure that the injuries are as limited as possible by practice here. And then Rick's in there now, so he's in there going through all the guys and for the physicals and so on. So I don't know a whole lot right now, but I'm sure I'll find
But
Eddie.
what's his sense? Does he think they're in shape from what he's seen?
Well, we saw some of the guys yesterday. We weren't able to physical them today. But we saw the guys yesterday, so you're talking injury. But the guys that came in yesterday, I thought looked pretty good. You guys saw them out there. I thought they looked good. We didn't take them out and run them or anything, so run routes. We couldn't do that. So I don't know. I don't know from there what it is. I'll know tomorrow. I'll have a pretty good idea tomorrow when I see them just run around a little bit as they get their timing back and so on.
And you're talking about how slowly you're going to bring guys along here the first few days. You have a preseason game in 15 days. How challenging is it going to be to go into that? And I mean, you worry about injuries in a game like that, and guys just not knowing the plays and just being, jeopardizing themselves.
Yeah, well, listen. In theory, this is the day the veterans are coming in. So it's the same amount of time that the veterans would come in till we play. I'm not jumping them right into pads right away, like we've done in the past. I'm going to ease them into this thing, and you're talking 4 days. So I'm okay with that. That's all right.
That's with OTAs and mini camps and the whole offseason.
That's right.
This is 15 days with none of that.
Yeah. Well, listen, it'll all work. Like I said, it's equal opportunity all the way around. I'll have a little better feel tomorrow when I see see what kind of shape they're in, and if I have to back off a little bit so we take steps forward later, I'm okay with that.
But won't veterans have a huge advantage here?
Well, I would think. I mean, they're going to be a step ahead. They're going to be a step ahead. So I understand that, and at the same time, we'll see the rookies. There, it's a little bit like Evelyn Wood's speed reading class. I mean, we'll find out who can move their finger the fastest, right? So we'll find out here.
So you don't feel like you'll be putting guys at risk? Practice for 2 weeks, just got their playbooks, just met their coaches, just met their teammates. In 15 days, go to play preseason game other than that.
Well, listen. My thing is, it was our responsibility to bring in the right kind of guys. I mentioned this after the draft. I thought we brought in some guys, and you read about them. I thought we brought in some guys that were smart guys, good character guys, team captains, all that type of thing. And I think that helps you in this case the best it can help you. I think they're pretty good guys, so I would imagine that the veterans, you have no other choice. You're up here at Lehigh, you have no other choice than to welcome everybody in and let's go. And the veterans, I think you'll see them helping the players out, the young guys out in the back as much or more than what they've done in the past. So it's just important that through the grind, as we get into day 4, day 5, and so on, that those guys maintain their focus and with the heat and the humidity and all those types of things.
And you have to deal with the reality of the situation, but were you surprised and maybe a little disappointed when you saw the new practice regulations?
You know what? Listen. Change is hard for everybody. But I really didn't care. I prepped for it, and it is what it is. It doesn't bother me. I'm more progressive than that. If it's given to me, I'm gonna try to solve whatever problem's there, any change that's there, try to solve it. And I think we have a pretty good plan, and we'll see how it goes. And I'm excited about it, and I think our guys are, and I think it'll work out fine.
Andy, how do you delegate within the organization? There's so many balls in the air, undrafted rookie signings, free agents, trades, all that other stuff. I know some people are back in Philly now. How do you guys come to maybe a plan to delegate and split everything up?
Well, thank goodness for cell phones. I mean, Joe, Howie, and I have talked a few times today. They're doing a great job. Howie's got a crew. Joe's got a crew. They're all working together and putting these deals together and keeping things flowing. Talking with the agents. It's been catch up for the agents too. So they're all kind of they're working together. Maybe even more so than before, working together get things done and get it done on a short period of time. So, but we've got a good crew. Obviously, we have people that we trust and within the organization to do things like that.
Andy, how tough is it? You generally have maybe even a better idea of who's on this team coming into camp, but with everything that's happened with the lockout, how tough is it to probably not have certain guys here, maybe even your free agents being able to practice for the following week, all the things of that nature, not having almost your whole team here when you take the field?
Well, listen, if I kind of know how many draft picks I think I mean, as I started here, we were down 3 that weren't signed. The majority of the guys are signed. So, we'll get them up here through the 5 o'clock driving. We'll get them up here, and then we'll cut it loose. And if a veteran player isn't able to practice or isn't here or whatever it might be, well, it gives that young guy an opportunity to practice. So I'm okay with that. If somebody misses, it gives that next guy a chance, and then you get to see the depth of your team and teach and it all works out. It all works out.
Andy, everybody has Kevin Cobb dealt. Any chance that he's here still?
You're working that question, but listen, we'll see how all that works out. We'll see how everything goes here.
Other teams abandoned the idea of going to camp. You obviously thought it was really important to this group. Why?
Abandoned coming up to here? Yeah. Well, listen, number one, Lehigh worked with us. I think a lot of the teams got to a point where they had to make a decision, and Lehigh just said, hey, they kept in, Joe and the people up here kept in touch, and Don Smolenski, and they allowed us to do this. And then John Hadfield, he had the brake on, but the motor was running. So when it was time to go, he was out the gate, Rick Burkholder out the gate, and they told me they could get it done, and then they were able to do it. So I had to make sure that I had trust in that. Corey Matei, who's my assistant, he sets all the camp up. He felt comfortable with it, and then the people at Lehigh helping us out, whether it's the staff that puts the food together, or the cleaning staff, maintenance staff, they were able to get a crew together that will work through this, and they thought it could be done, and they were ready to roll.
But why did you think it was important to do it?
Well, whoever asked the question about the continuity, I love coming up here because it puts everybody together. So you're talking about players who don't know each other, haven't gone through many camps. Maybe this is even more important to come up here. They're housed together. They've got to make it work. When you're up here, there's not a lot of other things going on, and so you sit around after your meetings, you talk and socialize and review your playbooks. You got to do all those things that you do. I think it brings a team together a little bit.
Do you think you could get more accomplished here than if you were spending this time at the NovaCare?
Well, I'll tell you, I can make it work either place. I enjoy coming up here. I like having our fields the rest of the year look as nice as they are and as nice to practice on as we have them. So there's some benefits to that. I like having all the guys right here together and no distractions. That's a good thing.
Any free agent that's signed cannot report to camp until August 4th. Do you know why the NFL had that? And does that affect you guys in any way? Or you bringing these guys in so late?
Listen, the rules are the rules on it. So, like I said, you'd love to have them all here today, but there's going to be that. You've got to be a little flexible. One of the neat things that we do with our meetings is we film our meetings, and so with that, we use that as a teaching tool for guys that come in late. We're able to sit them down, and all the installs that have been delivered, we can catch the players up in free time without the coach having to sit in there and go back through the install. And so that will probably even be used more this year than it has in the past. And but it allows those players to understand the plays and try to use technology and teach it the best we can.
You talked earlier about the challenges to the rookies. Have you lowered your expectations for their first year impact on this team?
I haven't. we've got a lot of we have a lot of young guys, anyways. But for the young rookies coming in, no, I expect them to come in and play and learn, and you just got to focus in just a little bit more aggressively and stay tuned. When you're tired, you got to make sure you put the toothpicks in the eyes, make sure those eyelids don't collapse on you, and stay awake, and then review any opportunity that you're given to go back over what you've been given by a coach. Go back over it, do it again, ask the veteran players, but utilize every minute of time that you have.
Andy, how much do you think Michael will benefit from now being in camp as the guy, as the starter? This time last year he came in on Kevin, but now he emerged last year and is now the guy. How much do you think that'll benefit going into week 1?
Yeah, well, by the time it's all said and done, it almost doubles his reps, so that's a good thing. And so you can't help but get better. You can't help but get better from the knowledge bank that he put away this past season. Brings that out, he adds to it, and learns, and takes his game even to another notch. The beautiful thing about Michael is, and he'll be the first to tell you, he can even get better. I would say that about every player. Every player, no matter how long they've been in the league, you can always get better as a coach. You can do the same thing. But Michael knows that, and he's ready to go. He looks like he's in great shape, and I know he can't wait to cut him loose. He is very excited. You have a chance to talk to him, you get that that's radiating from that he wants to go, like now.
What areas are you looking for him to get better in? What are the key areas for him to improve from last year?
Well, the obvious one is what we talked about, just making sure he and the center are on the same page with the blitz game. It's equal opportunity for both of them, making sure that they have communication there, and that's not Michael, that's two guys working together and knowing each other, and so that'll probably be the number one thing. And then the other things are smaller things that we deal with. And Michael, before we were in the lockout, Michael had already been able to address some of that, so he was able to take with him what he needs to work on after he left our facility.
Who's starting right tackle right now?
Well, we've got both Winston, just depending on how Winston's feeling here. I got to get with Rick, but you've got Winston and King Dunlap who both can do that. I'm going to put Danny into a right guard position when he's ready to go, and then we're going to go.
What about Jamal? Is he ready to start center?
Jamal's ready to go. Yeah, he's ready to go.
And because of all the
he'll be the starting center.
Because of all the unknowns with personnel, are you going to experiment more with just giving guys some reps with the ones and kind of at some spots and just kind of shuffling things around and trying different things?
Yeah, I want to see. I want to get them out there and see first. I want to see what we've got. I haven't had a chance to work with any of the rookies. I just want to kind of get a feel of what's there, and then I'll take it from there. And if we need to move or move guys here or there, we can do that. But I know we've got good players. That's what I know we have, and it's just a matter of we get them in the right spots, and they do the things that I know they can do, and they know they can do, and we should have a pretty good football team.
Where will you put McLean to get most big reps then? Second team?
Well, the one nice thing, he plays either guard and center, so it works good with that. He'll get plenty of work.
Andy, the free agents you go after, take into account all how quickly you think they might be able to get up to speed in such a short period of time?
I will. I've just got to see. Listen, I would imagine they're going to be in the same type of shape as our players that are here now and that I'll have a couple days with here, and so I'll be able to kind of make a judgment on the guys that we have in place, and then we'll see when they come in. We'll see when they come in, and I'm sure I'm going to have to ease them into it. The one nice thing, that the league did was they gave us a bigger roster that we can use for camp, and that way you can still maintain the length of your practice and depth of your football team, so that the guys don't get forced in a position where they're cramming in a ton of reps.
Does it make it more challenging, I guess, to go after certain free agents, just because, such a short time period before?
Yeah, we had a pretty well thought out plan, so I think that was important when the gun fired. We were able to come out of the blocks and fast, and do our communicating with people. We kind of knew the direction we wanted to go, and we'll just see how things work out as it goes. But we tried to think through all the different scenarios, and we'll see how it all works out with time.
Two more questions. The history of veterans holding out against the Eagles over the last 20 years, the results, things haven't really turned out too well for those players. Why is that? And would you obviously advise against a current player doing?
Well, listen, I don't want you don't want any player to miss time. You don't want him to do that. You understand that's part of the game, but you don't. I don't want any player to miss time. I want him to be out here. I think the players want to be out here. Likewise, but there's two sides of this. There's a football side, there's a business side, and you have to work it through. Things happen. There's change, human element. That's the beauty of the game. All of those things are the beauty of the game and the challenge of the game. Challenge to put all that together and still win football. You gotta love that. Right? You gotta love it. So I don't let all that bother me. I move forward. Another man misses a day. Another man practices and gets himself better. That's a beautiful thing.
Andy, for the moment, who's your starting right corner right now?
My starting right cornerback? I'm not going to tell you.
Is the plan right now to have Chase Henry be the punter?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how all this works out. We'll see. We got a little time.
Okay.